Hi, I'm Dee Dee, and I want to speak today on a topic that is very close to my heart. So I want to talk about using the body as a spiritual tool to help us with our healing and our journey to back home to ourselves, that process of refinement that many of us are on. And from what I see in the social media world in particular at the moment, is there's so much out there that is encouraging us to go to these events and talks and listen to these podcasts and get these books. And I'm definitely not saying that information and knowledge is not key, but I think that there's a lot of people who are seeking, searching, gaining all this knowledge, but then still feeling like there's something missing. And if we are not moving our bodies, exercising, pushing ourselves, finding that like grit and that strength within us via these bodies, then we honestly are missing a trick. And there is no wonder that people are still feeling blocked and stuck and stagnant in their spiritual development. So yeah, I just, for me, I have used exercise as a way of finding out who I really am, and also pushing through that just a little bit each and every time. So for instance, let me use the instance of hanging on a bar, right? I do a lot of body weight training and strength training via body weight using bars and like a yoga practice, because I used to lift weights and that caused a lot of injuries for me, but it was very needed at the time. So we can use another analogy of like a bicep curl as well. But say we're hanging on a bar. It's going to be uncomfortable, especially when we start to bring the body a little bit closer to failure. And in this example, if we're gripping on a bar, our grip starts to go, the skin on the hand starts to burn, right? Okay, cool. We're going through this experience, everything's on fire, it's burning, oh my God. Naturally, the mind, if we're not used to this way of training or pushing ourselves that little bit further, the mind will just give up. It will immediately sense pain and discomfort, and we will let go of the bar, and then we're out. It takes such an amount of time and energy and effort to even get to that point. So why are we giving up at that point, It's when things start to get really, really fiery and heated and the skin is starting to go, that is the point in which we want to work within that very small margin of of time. So when we're in this place where we're wanting to let go of the bar, we don't hang on, keep hanging on, keep going until the very, very, very last moment. Make sure it's your body that's going to failure rather than the mind. Until we build that mind up and the body, but the mind usually has to catch up with the body. The body will usually go on and be a lot stronger than the mind. The mind will give up first. So yes, just don't give up so easily. That's the point. There's such and then in that point, in those few seconds where we're holding onto the bar that little bit longer, there you will meet yourself. There is a part of you that can come alive, and yeah, maybe there's a bit of anger, maybe there's resentment, maybe there's frustration. Good. Get it up. It takes that amount of work to first of all bring it to the surface. If anyone's done any medicine work, plant medicine work before, you kind of, that's the purpose of the plant medicine, is that it pulls stuff up from the subconscious. The exercise can do the same thing if we don't give up so easy, don't resist that discomfort so easily. Stay there, stay with it. It's temporary anyway, you know what I mean? You can let go of the bar. It is still ultimately our choice. We can put the weights down, we can get out of the plank or whatever it is. Yeah, so but yeah, we can really meet ourselves in that moment. Get yourself to that place where we've brought that whatever to the surface. And then when you're doing those last few repetitions, those last few seconds where you're hanging, those last few seconds in your downward facing dog or whatever the movement is, your squat, go that little bit longer. Breathe into that moment. Be with all the sensations. Don't brush them off. You know, you can be with all the grit and the fire and the burn, if you know, the lactic acid, if it is you're in a squat or whatever. You know, keep fighting. There's like a warrior energy spirit within us that we all have, that so many of us don't get to see because we just give up like a little bit too early. And that happens a lot in our lives, right? We can train, we can use physical practices and physical movement to bring what we learn and bring what we teach ourselves out of the gym, off of the mat, you know what I mean? And if you don't, then yeah, I will explain. But our ability to be, say, flexible, in my own experience, the more flexible and open I am in my body, the more flexible and open I am in my life. It does eventually, over time, start to transition into your everyday reality, because what we're doing here in our movement practice, in our exercise practice, is training the subconscious. That's what we want to be hitting. This is where all the books and the lectures and the podcasts and the social media platforms, the spiritual teachers, they help, of course, but then that we need to implement that information into the body somehow. And for me, it's one of the strongest spiritual tools for me that I've used has been physical movement and exercise. I've met myself very deeply, you know, in difficult movements. So yes, I think to wrap this up, using the body, using our bodies as a spiritual tool. When you are doing your movement, next time you're in the gym and you want to give up, or you've given yourself 15 reps, but you know that you're not done after those 15 reps, do the extra 3, do the extra 5, you know, and really do them. Don't worry if you've set yourself 15, you need to do 20. Next time, go heavier on the weight or do more reps in the first place. You know what I mean? No, we've got to know and discern ourselves if we're cheating ourselves out of that experience, that meeting ourselves at that very uncomfortable level. If you're not progressing in the gym, in your fitness, in your training, or your spiritual development has stagnated, or your mental, personal, emotional development, whatever way you want to look at it, your own progress as a person, as a human, in your physical life and in your external, even your working life, you can really move things forward via a strong movement practice. Just don't give up so easy. Hang on that a little bit longer. Wait until those parts of you that are really, you know what I mean, get to the point where it's extremely uncomfortable. Be with it, push through it. Every time you do that, you get that little bit stronger. And also, one last thing, when you come out of these movements, when you let go of that bar, when you come out of the squat, I really encourage you to channel the energy that comes up after you get out of these things, because it's one thing being in the uncomfortable movement position, but when you come out of it, it's also important to, you know, I come off the bar, or I come out of a squat, and I just breathe, close my eyes, wait for all the energy to settle, you know, the energy that comes up also wants and needs a chance to process and come out. So if you come out of these movements and you're straight away, swearing, oh my God, blah, that was so difficult, you're kind of brushing off the opportunity to allow the rest of that energy to move and pass through. So yeah, when you come out and you finish doing your movements and your exercise, stay with that. You know what I mean, and if you don't, you will when you get to that point. Breathe, wait for all the blood, all the energy, everything to shift and settle into its new place. Because I promise you, your moving energy, you might not look like it, and you might be in a gym environment, it might not be a spiritual environment, but you can be doing spiritual work in the gym, doing a bicep curl, doing a lat pull down, doing a squat, doing a handstand, all of the above. So I hope that helps. And if I'm a personal trainer, yoga teacher, movement coach, spiritual coach, and add all of that into one-to-one movement sessions that I do, and some membership programs that I offer where we do live classes and recorded classes. So and if you're interested in following me on Instagram, all my details are in the description. So yeah, and follow along if you like this stuff. I'll be posting more of it for sure. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye.